Hello and welcome to today's episode, where we are going to explore some of the most strange and fascinating facts about New York City. New York City is one of the most famous and iconic cities in the world, but it also has a lot of secrets and surprises that you might not know about. So, let's dive in and discover 10 things that will make you see the Big Apple in a new light. First, let's talk about the Empire State Building, one of the most recognizable landmarks in the city. You probably know that it's a very tall building, but did you know that it's also a very attractive target for lightning? That's right, every year, the Empire State Building gets hit by lightning at least 23 times. That's because it stands at 1,454 feet high, making it one of the highest points in the city. But don't worry, the building is well prepared for this phenomenon. It has a lightning rod on top that safely redirects the electricity to the ground. So, next time you see a thunderstorm in New York City, look out for the Empire State Building and you might catch a glimpse of this spectacular sight. Next, let's go underground and visit the world's first underground park, called the Lowline. This park is located in an abandoned subway station in the Lower East Side, a neighborhood that is known for its hip and trendy vibe. The Lowline is not your typical park, though. It uses solar technology to bring natural light and plants to the dark space. It's like a futuristic garden in the middle of the city. The Lowline is not open to the public yet, but it's expected to be completed by 2025. It will be a great place to escape from the hustle and bustle of the city and enjoy some nature and art. Now, let's move on to something that might surprise you if you think that New York City is only a concrete jungle. Did you know that over a quarter of North American bird species are found in New York City? That's more than 250 different kinds of birds, from hawks and owls to hummingbirds and warblers. You can spot them in parks, gardens, rooftops, and even on the streets. New York City is actually a great place for birdwatching, especially during spring and fall when many birds migrate through the city. Some of the best places to see birds are Central Park, Prospect Park, Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge, and Governor's Island. Speaking of wildlife, New York City also has a lot of gold. And we're not talking about jewelry or coins, we're talking about gold bars. Lots and lots of gold bars. In fact, New York City has the world's largest gold storage, located in the Federal Reserve Bank. The bank has a vault that holds more than 6,000 tons of gold bars, worth over $200 billion. That's more gold than Fort Knox or any other place in the world. The vault is protected by a 90-ton steel cylinder that can only be opened by a combination of codes and keys. The gold belongs to various countries and organizations that store it there for safekeeping. So, if you ever wonder where all the gold in the world is, now you know. But not everything in New York City is shiny and warm. Sometimes, it can get very cold and icy. And we mean very cold and icy. In 1780, during the American Revolution, New York City experienced one of its coldest winters ever. The temperature dropped so low that the New York harbor froze over so much that people could walk from Manhattan to Staten Island on the ice. Imagine how cold that must have been. And how dangerous. The harbor was also used as a battleground between the British and American forces during the war. So, walking on ice was not only risky because of cracking or slipping, but also because of bullets and cannons. But let's not dwell on the past too much. Let's talk about something more positive and patriotic. Did you know that New York City was the first capital of the United States? Yes, before Washington, D.C. took over, New York City was the seat of government from 1785 to 1790. George Washington was inaugurated as the first president at Federal Hall on Wall Street in 1789. He also lived in several mansions around the city during his presidency. New York City was chosen as the capital because it was a major port and trade center at the time. However, it was later moved to Philadelphia and then to Washington, D.C. for various political reasons. New York City is still a major port and trade center today, but it's also known for its wealth and glamour. And when we say wealth and glamour, we mean a lot of wealth and glamour. Did you know that millionaires account for 1 out of every 21 New Yorkers? That means there are more than 400,000 millionaires living in the city, more than any other city in the world. That's a lot of money and power in one place. Some of the most famous and richest New Yorkers are Michael Bloomberg, Donald Trump, Jerry Seinfeld, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé. Of course, not all New Yorkers are millionaires, but many of them aspire to be one. New York City is full of surprises, but one of the most unexpected ones happened in 1975, when someone bought a private island in the East River for a measly $10. The island is called Youthant Island, and it was created by accident when some rocks were dumped there during subway construction. The buyer was a Buddhist group that wanted to honor Youthant, a former UN Secretary General who was from Myanmar. The island is only 100 by 200 feet, and it's mostly covered by trees and birds. It's not open to the public, but you can see it from the shore or from a boat. New York City is also famous for its subway system, but did you know that it has some hidden secrets? For example, there is a glass floor in the financial district that reveals some Dutch colonial structures from 1642. They are part of the original wall that gave Wall Street its name. The wall was built by the Dutch settlers to protect themselves from the Native Americans and the British. It was later torn down and replaced by a street, but some parts of it still remain underground. You can see them through a glass floor at 60 Wall Street, a modern skyscraper that houses Deutsche Bank. And finally, one of the most bizarre facts about New York City is that it once had a traffic jam caused by two goats. Yes, you heard that right. In 2018, two goats escaped from a slaughterhouse and wandered onto the N train tracks in Brooklyn. They caused delays for hours until they were rescued by Jon Stewart, the former host of The Daily Show. Stewart is an animal lover and activist who has a farm sanctuary in New Jersey. He took the goats to his farm and named them Billy and Willie. They are now living happily ever after with other rescued animals. And those are 10 strange facts about New York City that I bet you didn't know before. I hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something new. If you did, please leave a comment and share this with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more fun and interesting episodes like this one. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.